Hi, I'm Chapala Street, and I get to represent the 37th District, which is Southeast Seattle. When I think about our priorities for this session, I think about it in sort of long-term priorities for the legislature and then short-term priorities that we may not have gotten done last session. So let's start with the short-term things. When I think about the people who are most impacted by the state, I think of people who are incarcerated and our foster care youth. Those are folks who are completely dependent on the state, and it's our job to take care of them. As you may have heard, we have a huge crisis in juvenile rehabilitation around overcrowding. This is causing kids to be kept in cells 23 hours a day, sometimes having to pee in plastic bottles because we don't have the security guards to take them to the bathroom. That is completely on us, and we need to do better. Last session, we had two bills around limiting the number of folks that come into JR and trying to find alternative options, as well as transferring people from JR facilities to Department of Corrections. Those two bills were trying to be moved in a compromise, but it fell apart and we didn't do anything. That's something that we need to come back and fix immediately in this session now. Another conversation that seems to perennially happen here in Olympia is budget deficits. One of the reasons that happens is because we have a structural issue with how we raise revenue. This year, we have an opportunity to make progress on one of the goals that I came here to Olympia to advance, which is making sure that our tax code is more progressive. I don't think that the folks who are most prosperous should pay less as a portion of their income than working families. We all need to support the services that make this state great. So I'm going to be introducing some new bills and also working on some bills that didn't make it through last session. For example, 1550 is around recycling EV batteries. House Joint Memorial 4010 honors Eishnor, who was both a constituent of the 37th and a University of Washington graduate. She was known for her activism and was killed in a protest in the West Bank, and we're asking for an investigation into her murder. House Bill 2480 is around allowing residential housing in commercial zones. We know that we have an issue with housing and need to build more. This allows us to build housing anywhere. 2567 reinstates the Washington College Grant and Washington Promise scholarships for low-income students going to higher education. This was part of the cuts that we made last session, and it's vitally important that we support our students going on to higher education. I sit on the Finance Committee, and every year we hear from the Joint Legislative Audit Committee that while they can look at different tax preferences that we've provided for businesses, they can't evaluate whether they are meeting legislative intent because we haven't specified the metrics for which they should be evaluated. Because of that, I'm working with different unions and the Boeing company to make sure that we can fully evaluate the aerospace tax preferences that we give that industry. I think that is a great industry that provides a ton to the state, and we just want to make sure that we're getting the most out of the money we give them so that they're building jobs here in Washington state. This is a really hard session. We're seeing a lot of draconian actions coming out of Washington, D.C., and we're here to help fight for you. There are things like requiring law enforcement to not wear masks, identify themselves, prevent ICE from entering schools, colleges, and hospitals without a warrant. We are doing all that we can to make sure that chaos coming out of D.C. doesn't affect Washingtonians. That said, one of the things that gives me hope is that we here build for resiliency, and we're getting tons of money into the community, and we're doing other great policy bills to make sure that our community members are supported and feel safe. Please use me as a resource. If you have ideas, we're here, we want to work for you, and we stand with you.